Okay, so for this video, I'll be reviewing This is RuneScape, and this video is combining both my favorite hobbies of all time, which is skateboarding and skating. So it's made by Lil Smokey, so shout out to you, Lil Smokey, for making this video. Really like making a dream come true that I've always thought, like, oh, someone should make a video, or like I could do it, or whatever. But here we go. Let's get started. So he gets started off by push. This rune skater is pushing Goofy. He's goofy footed, and he gets started off with a 1 foot, a 180 hospital flip to switch heel, and he does a little stanky leg right there, which is pretty neat. And then right here he does a a nollie. No, sorry. That's a fakey ollie down the Lumbee Castle 12 stair. And Lumbee is basically Lumbridge Castle, and that's the first place all new players go to when you start the game off. Clean. And here we go. So this clip, I'll let it play first. So the second clip, he starts off on top of Doric's roof, and that leads to Taverley. The gates are Taverley. Once you get through the gates, you're in Taverley, and so Doric's roof, that area, that area where Doric is at, that area is free to play, and when you go through those gates, the Taverley gates, that leads you to pay to play area. So free to play is just playing RuneScape for free, no membership at all, and that's you're only uh, given a limited amount of space to roam around and play for in RuneScape. Pay to play is you pay $10 a month for a RuneScape membership, and you get access to all aspects of RuneScape. So for this RuneSkater to do a 360 hard flip, and then that was so cool. He did a 180 ollie north, and he kicked the door open with his foot. And then you could see this guy saying thanks, mate, because he's dressed up in leather chaps, leather, or maybe like a hard leather body, and a coif with leather gloves, and I'm assuming that's a not a maple long bow. That's probably an oak long bow, and that's just gear that noobs would only wear. Really, that's worth like not even 1,000 GP probably, maybe just a little over. But anyway, so that guy's a free to play player, and he's like, oh crap, he opened the gates, I can get in for free now. So he thinks like that he could just get through, and that was everybody's dream. Everybody would think that like, oh, if only I could just get through the gate, because you wouldn't be able to if you have free to play. So let's continue. And he does a steezy frontside big spin. That was clean. And then this is the Abyss Gap. This spot is east of Varrock, and that was pretty cool. He got hit for a 6, which is pretty funny. That he would still, if he has 99 HP, which is like your hit points. That's what HP stands for. He would have 93 left, so he's chilling off of that. He didn't take that, wasn't a gnarly slam. And then this clip, he is at GE, which is also known as Grand Exchange, and that's the main place where people trade and buy stuff, anything. And then on his board, he has stickers of I'm assuming it's the most popular RuneScape streamers or RuneScape content creators on his board. And he also has Mod Ash, which is this guy right here, and Mod Ash is one of the developers of RuneScape, and he's been in the company for years, and he's a well loved man, in the community. They do a lot for the community. And then right here, this is at the Vrock East, and he's on his way to the wilderness. So let's let it roll. He does he'll switch ollie over a stray dog, and that stray dog, let me see. That stray dog has fleas. Those little dots are fleas or flies, and the dog's what you could do is you could scare it, or you could feed it, and you could feed it like any kind of food. Like it could be as you could feed it like one of the best foods in the game is like a shark, or you could feed it like a tuna potato. Those are pretty popular foods in RuneScape. So he does the switch ollie, and that little red guy is an imp. Oops. Hang on, let me stop it right at the frame. Yeah, there he is. He's a little imp. He has like a tiny sword. They're level like 2, and you could kill him in like one shot. He has like 3 HP. Alright, so now he goes through here. He's pushing, pushing. And then he does this crazy heel flip 50-50 onto this wooden rail. And the wooden rail, like the posts are sticking out. So this guy he's locking in toe side for this 50-50. And did you see that he does like he goes over a little gap onto an upward angled rail like twice. That's crazy. So let's continue. Lands Steezy, and he does that crazy, crazy frontside flip. That was a nice one. It looked more like an inward heel in my eyes. You know the way it flipped. It flipped sideways. Like a nice frontside flip could like just look very pretty. Like it could look more glued to your feet, but that's just something else. Anyway, so he does this, which is just oh sorry, excuse me, I passed some gas. He does uh a switch back 180. I want to make sure I get it right. And then he ollies this bump to gap, but then he gets frozen. He gets barraged, and barrage is one of the strongest spells in the game, and you get that for doing a really hard quest. You could have access to that spell for doing a really hard quest, and you need 94 magic, and that's really high. That takes like a long time to get to that level. And that guy right here, that's Derail. He Derail 321. That person is very iconic too because he started the boss. I was about to say Boston Massacre, the Falador Massacre, and he was. I think from what I've heard, he said that he was like 14 when he did this. He discovered a glitch where he um, he was able to attack players in safe zones, and being able to attack a player in a safe zone is like that's unheard of. So when he discovered it, he was just killing people in Falador, and he was taking all their loot, and he made like billions. He made a lot of money because when you're in the safe zone, like you do not worry about people killing you. You could have all this like you could have like your all your expensive items on you and not worry about oh yeah I'm gonna get killed. That's only in the wilderness, which is where RuneScater is at. He was about to cross this gap, and that gap or the ditch is the line that leads to the wilderness where you could fight where you could fight other players. But it's funny how they added him on here, and that skull on top of his head is if you attack somebody first, you get it, and when you die, you lose everything. So let's say if a rune skater dies, he would probably keep his skateboard, his helmet, and the chain body. That's probably all what he would keep. What he's wearing. Only 3 items, and everything else it would get lost. And this spot, he's at Canifis. And Canifis is like a swampy area. Think of this city like, or this town like humans that turn into werewolves. And you saw, yeah, let's go back. You could see this snail. You could kill that snail, and you could wear his shell as a hat. So he does a front side, oh no, like a backside power slide, and he does 3 ollies. And this clip is mostly for like RuneScapers because it's just going through the town, and that guy on the right, he's a Slayer master. So you talk to him, and he gives you a task of monsters to kill. He's like, okay, kill 20 cockroaches, kill 30 abyssal demons. These are just names. That's what they have you do, and you get XP for killing each and every one of those monsters for Slayer. And then this gentleman on the left, that's Swamp Letix. Swamp Letix is a very popular RuneScape content creator, and he's chasing an imp. I'm assuming it's like a baby impling or a gourmet impling because of the color of it. It's like a light purple. It could be either of those two. And he did this whole series about being in this area in particular. And then that castle up ahead is the Slayer Tower where you get to kill monsters. And now this spot, ooh, this is also another iconic spot. This is called Duel Arena, also known as Sand Casino, because this is like the gambling side of RuneScape where you could gamble GP, gold pieces, and people lost billions of GP or made millions of GP, but mostly people would just lose, or get scammed. I've gotten scammed there before, where they change a setting in the game to get a higher advantage on their end, and not an advantage, nothing for me. Like a 25 to 75% chance, and you bet like 50 mil or 100 mil, even a billion mil. You put 1 bill on the line, they put 1 bill on the line. Whoever dies first gets to keep it, or whoever kills somebody first gets to keep the money in, and then you could just keep rinse and repeat. You could keep doing that setting, or that type of gambling where you just attack each other, one click, and you just let it's 50-50. RuneScape, it's random number generated uh, uh, attacks, so it could go either way, honestly. When all the stats are lined up, when it's 50-50, it could go either way. It doesn't matter. So what he does here is this crazy switchboard slide, and then he gets like this fakey back 180, and then he bumps into this guy's name is Duradel. Bumps into Duradel, gets specced out for a 72. 41 plus 20 plus 12 is 72. So he should 72 minus 99. That's 27 HP. Yeah, 27 HP he has left. So that yeah, that if he gets specced out one more time, he's for sure dead and dying. But yeah, that's a funny that's funny. And what he has in his hands is called Dragon Claws. Those are one of the greatest spec weapons in the game. It's expensive too. And it's funny, after this clip, this B-roll shot is Duradel, the one that he just got attacked by. They're drinking at the Blue Moon Inn, which is a bar in West East Varrock. This is in East Varrock, so it's funny to see them drinking there. And then this leprechaun, he's basically like a farmer, so he helps you with your farming stuff. And this bridge, he does like a board slide and tries to come out of it and do this 8 stair, I believe. Yeah, this is an 8 stair. This is in Falador. That's Falador Castle, and then he just falls and eats crap. And right here, there's these guards, and this back here in particular, this cannon, that's significant because it that signifies riots in or protests in RuneScape. So for a protester to hold up a sign in RuneScape, this um, cannon is equivalent to that, where people would put up their cannons, have it spinning, and then they would say like, "Oh, we want this update to go away," or "We pay, we say." That was like a main thing that they would say. That was like the main protest phrase: "We pay, we say." And then right here, so he kills that guard that was like, "Hey, you're under arrest." So that's why his helmet and bones were there. And then he's just raging, and this is something that skaters do when they can't land the trick, or they get kicked out of a spot, or they're just battling a trick. Like it could take a long time, and it could get to us sometimes where we just take out our frustration on our skateboard when we get hurt, or when we just take too much time to get to conquer the spot. So and skaters, they snap their boards. They snap their boards. It's common for that to happen, where they purposely snap it. And maybe the board it loses its pop, or it got chipped pretty bad, there's many reasons why people like skaters just snap their board, because skateboarders that like pros, they go through so much boards, so it's common for skaters to do that. And then right here, he's using a skateboard to cut a tree, because you could cut trees in RuneScape, and using a skateboard to cut a tree, that's like equivalent to like not even a bronze axe. That'd be like a wooden axe, which is not even available in RuneScape, not that I'm aware of. And then all these people over here, and this is the Falador Garden, and in the Falador Garden, way back in the day, way back in 2007, RuneScape players would come here to trade and sell their stuff, like a flea market, pretty much. Think of a flea market, and but there was also scammers. There'd be people that would say like, "Oh, I'm doubling your money. You give me 100K, I'll give you 200K." And there's people that fall for that, unfortunately, where you trade somebody money, and once you accept the trade, then like it's a done deal. You cannot like take back your money. And then there's also another one saying like, "Oh, trimming armor." So there's like armor that's trimmed, and people would say like, "Oh yeah, I'll trim your armor for free." So like you trade them like your rune plate legs, plate body. That's like decent cash right there. Not great, but it's good GP. And people would trade them their armor and then like just get scammed. They wouldn't trim their armor. You can't even do that in RuneScape. It was always the saying that you would do it, but you can't. And then this spot is the Falador party room. People would put so much money in these rooms, and there's a chest right behind this rune skater. You can't see it in the clip, but there's a chest where people put in money, people put in GP, people put in expensive items, and after like a certain amount of time, after there's like a lot of like stuff that just got put in for free in this chest, they put it in, they each of those items are put randomly in those balloons. So they fall from the sky, really, and then once they get to the floor, you're supposed to step on them, and you'll get whatever is on the floor, whatever item you happen to get. And it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I used to come here and I made a few GPs here and there, not too much, nothing too crazy here. But there has been people that made like crazy money, or people put in crazy money. And the trick that this rune skater is doing right here is the switch manny. And for an ender, it could have been better, but for him to end it in the party room where there's so much people, like it's a happy ending, because the Faldor party room, that's where people would just make money. There was never a place for people to. Well, people do lose money, but it's like people are donating the money. It's a donation pretty much, and the balloons, like it's a fancy place for people to just get money for free, or items that are expensive, or just whatever. It was a good experience in my childhood. This room would get filled with people, filled with players. So boop, and that's the clip. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe to Smokey, and this video it really hit home. I love this video so much, and I'll never forget it. Thank you, Little Smokey. I would love to interview you to talk about this video, bro. I really want to get your insight on this and insight on your skating life. It'd be super cool, super stoked if we could get that happening. Have a good night, guys.